Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Season 11, Episode 17, overall 567 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Automall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles, as well as their Cadillac vehicle products as well. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210 and tell them Chris Palme sent you, or you can email the dealership at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been family run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969, and yours truly has been a customer of Barry Cullen Chevrolet for the last 25 years. And today I had the pleasure of interviewing General Manager Paul Cullen of Barry Cullen Chevrolet, and I'm going to play that during this broadcast as well. They had their one-day Civic holiday sales they brought back after a 5-year hiatus. They brought it back today, and I think it went really well, and I'm looking forward to airing the interview with Paul Cullen in this show as well. I hope everyone is doing well on this Monday, August 4th, 2025. I can't believe how fast June and July went, and now we're already into August, and Monday, August 4th, 2025. Looking forward to my guest today. I met her through Facebook and Instagram. It's her first appearance on our show. Her name is Nicole Newman. She's a public relations and marketing with her own company called Nicole Company, and she's the talk show host of her own show called Testimony Friday with Nicole on Instagram. And we're going to bring on Nicole Newman right now. And I guess there's a little technical difficulty. Her devices are not connected. Nicole, if you can hear me, maybe try logging off and try to log back on as well. The joys of technology and TV, radio, and the internet live streaming. So just get a little technical glitch with our guest, Nicole, and hopefully we can get her on here as well. Yeah, Dee, if you want to try to okay, she's going to try to log off and relog on again as well. Before we get our guest Nicole on, which I'm looking forward to speaking to her, we have some more sad news. As you know, recently Hulk Hogan passed away, and recently legendary actress passed away. Lonnie Anderson passed away at the age of 79. She's best known for playing Jennifer Marlowe on the hit TV show from 1978 to 1982 on CBS called WKRP in Cincinnati. So rest in peace to her. Rest in peace to Lonnie, and deepest sympathies and condolences to her family, friends, and former colleagues with WKRP in Cincinnati. And that was a great show. It was only on the air for 4 years, but they tried to recreate that magic back in the early 2000s, I believe, with the new WKRP in Cincinnati, and it just never was the same. And sometimes it's better to just to leave the original alone. And since we're waiting for a guest, I did get to see Happy Gilmore 2 the other night on Netflix, and what a disappointment. We waited 29 years for a sequel, and I'll be honest with you, I give it a big thumbs down. I was not impressed. Killing off one of the early characters right away, and it just, the storyline did not make sense at all, and to me it was poorly written, and it was not even close to being as good as the original. So when I think of Happy Gilmore, I think of the the first one back in 1996. This one, I just would like to forget about it. So, and I know a year ago they did Beverly Hills Cop 4 with Eddie Murphy and the original cast from the first one, and that was actually not bad at all. But it's hard nowadays to recreate magic from the past as well. So again, I do apologize. I'm hoping to have my guest Nicole Newman on, and we'll see if we can get her on. She did pop on. Okay, I think this time it worked. So just bear with us, and even if Nicole Newman can't come on with camera, as long as we get her on audio. So we're gonna try bringing her on, and she is the host of her own talk show called Testimony Friday with Nicole on Instagram, and she's been doing it for over 5 years. So just one second. We're going to try bringing her on right now. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Good evening. How are you? Okay. Still technical difficulties with my guest, Nicole Newman. So you know what? As we wait for Nicole Newman to come on, I'm going to play a little bit of an interview I did with the general manager of my sponsor, Barry Cullen Chevrolet. His name is Paul Cullen, and we're going to play this interview from earlier today, courtesy of my YouTube channel, Chris Palme, live with CDP Talk Show. Please subscribe, follow, and share. Just bear with me one second, and we'll play the audio as we wait for our guest to come on. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chris Palme, host of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Automall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com. Speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet, I'm here at the dealership this afternoon for their one-day event here, and I have a special guest here with me. His name is Paul. Is the general manager of Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Paul on Chevrolet here in Guelph.
Thanks, Chris. It's really exciting to be on your podcast. You guys have a great reach, and we're always really excited to sponsor your show. Today we're having, after a 5-year hiatus, it's our one-day Civic sale is back. We're having great big deals today, great gifts for customers that are buying cars, and we're really going out with all the stops today just to get back to the routine of what we were like before COVID, before the market changed, and recognizing the loyalty for our customers that have been buying cars from us for a long time and rewarding their loyalty.
You've had this event in the past. I guess this is the first time in 5 years. So what was the process in bringing back this event?
It was pretty straightforward. We're looking at the market and
all right, everybody. My guest, I believe, has corrected her technical issues. We will play the rest of this interview with Paul Cullen, the GM of Barry Cullen Chevrolet, after this show. But I'm excited to have her guest on tonight. It's her first appearance. We met through Facebook and Instagram. And again, her name is Nicole Newman, public relations and marketing with her own company called Nicole Company, and the talk show host of her own talk show podcast called Testimony Friday with Nicole on Instagram. And she was on an internet radio station too as well. And we're going to talk to her a little bit about that and about how she started up her career. One second, we're going to bring on tonight's guest. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. My apologies for my technical difficulties, but I'm so glad I made it. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. And it does happen in radio, TV. So I've always learned to have I can hear you loud and clear.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Loud and clear. It does happen in TV, radio, and I always try to be in plan B and C.
Absolutely.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's been a busy but productive Monday.
How's things? Are you based out of Atlanta, Georgia, I believe?
No, I'm not. I was currently a year ago, I've moved back to Maryland, which is my home.
Maryland, okay. And what makes Maryland such a great state to work and live in?
Well, first of all, I grew up in Maryland, so I was born and raised in Maryland. I love the seafood. I'm a crab lady, so I love the blue crabs here. We're in the nation's capital. I'm very close to Washington D.C., so there's a lot to do here. Um, Most of my family lives somewhere close on the East Coast from Maryland to New York. So my career has been here, majority of my career has been here in Maryland. Although I have traveled abroad for business in other states, but Maryland has all seasons. Now, I'm not a fan of the snow,
I am.
a lot of snow.
I love snow. I love the four seasons. You get a taste of everything.
Yeah, yes. I like to see the snow, but I don't like to shovel the snow.
I don't
But
mind it. It's good exercise for me. And plus, I'm in a townhouse condo, so I have a little bit of a driveway, but it's not like a mile and a half driveway, so it's
uh,
not that bad.
yeah, well, I don't really like a lot of snow. Love to see it, and I love the fireplace and all of that. But yeah, Maryland is a great state. There's a lot to do here, Maryland, because we're close. And I know the expression is the DMV, which is DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So I'm close to Washington D.C. as well as Virginia. So that gives you so much to do in the three states. Well, the two states in one city, Washington, D.C.
I've had a number of guests on from the DMV area, and I haven't been to Maryland since 1984, so it's been a while. So I probably should come back to Maryland at some point.
Let me know.
I
Definitely let
will.
me know.
I will.
Yes.
I will, and it's a nice pleasure to connect with you on Facebook and Instagram. And this technology, if you use it the right way, is a really good tool.
Yes, it can be. Definitely. Absolutely.
Can you tell my audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, as you guys know, first of all, I'm glad to be on your show, Chris. Thank you so much, very much for having me. I love sports as well. I love football, so I'm a big Dallas Cowboy fan.
Dallas.
I know,
Oh,
right? Even though I live here in the
Dallas.
DMV, I've been a fan
I I'm a
since.
Philadelphia Eagles fan, but I
Okay.
won't hold it against you.
Okay,
I
don't
won't
hold
hold
it
it against you.
against me. Okay, okay. So, as a matter of fact, I think we might play them first.
Yep.
I thought, yes,
Opening night
yes, yes,
when.
yes.
Yep. Yes.
So, I grew up here. I graduated from Great Mills High School. I went to Bowie State University, which is in Bowie, Maryland. I got married like in early, I would say mid the late 30s. My career started in the government, but I did so many wonderful internships. I was able to intern with the USO when I was in college. I was an intern for the federal government. So I really got an opportunity to do a lot. My family had various businesses. I grew up in the church, so I had a lot of marketing, customer service, training, and etiquette, and a whole lot of areas in the arts and music. So it's not surprising to me that I am a fan of gospel music and in the gospel music industry, but I also work just in general as a marketing consultant, PR, publicist, special events. Those are my areas of expertise. And I also, I consult for small businesses. So I had a lot of business. The DMV area is definitely a business hub, for business people, government, and all of that. So um yeah, and I had a business called Choice Enterprises about 25 years ago. And after that, life be lifing. So I transitioned into other areas and decided to go back to school to obtain my MBA and became a adjunct professor. Um, and then moved into other areas in academia and university operations as a manager. So I kind of got into academics, and then I also became a associate dean. So yeah, I kind of had a full career. I just look young, but I had a full career in business, and I love business and I love marketing. And right now I'm kind of doing me, doing some special events and some other projects that I'm interested in, you know.
What was the USO experience like, and how much has business marketing changed with the internet and social media?
Oh, the USO was a great experience. I was able to show, I was right on the National Mall. Anyone that knows Washington DC, or if you Google Washington DC, the National Mall sits right in the middle of all the museums. And my job was to man a kiosk. So I was given information out to the tourists, people that came to visit the city, wanted to know where the best places to go, to see what museums, what places to eat, and just all the activities and everything that Washington, D.C. had. I could see the Washington Monument, was like to my left, to my right was the Capitol. It was just a beautiful experience. I got to work with the National Park Services as well. So they watched over me and protected, me because I was a young lady in a kiosk on the National Mall. So the park police, I never forget my first experience with them riding the horses. And they would always come and check on me every day that I worked. So it was the best experience. That's one of the wish lists that I would love to, now that I'm, more experienced, I would love to do a USO tour. So I'm putting it out in the atmosphere. I would love to provide entertainment for the USO, and also maybe add that to a piece for radio so that I could help the military families, because I'm a dependent of a deceased vet, a Marine. So yeah, and the second part of that question was, can you repeat that? You asked.
No worries. It's basically
I think
I've
I
learned to
answered it.
no, I've learned to ad lib and sometimes just think of questions on my own just from doing this for 5.5 years.
Yes, right.
How much has businessing, marketing, and public relations changed
Oh,
from the internet and social media and the technology which really shrinks the world?
okay. Oh, wow. A big, big change. Well, first of all, the best type of and the oldest kind of marketing is word of mouth. I don't care what the internet is there. The internet can make it go even faster. However, it's still the best form of marketing is word of mouth, because you can also still pick up the telephone, right? And that could
Yeah.
spread just as fast. May not reach thousand, but it could be positive or negative either way. um and I remember, going having flyers and postcards, and really having to do the groundwork, which a lot of people don't do these days, to push out information. And I utilized radio and TV back then, which we still utilize today. Now, what social media has done, and I, as a marketing professor, I'm retired, but I used to tell my students, I said, be careful about what you put on the internet, what you post, because it's there forever. And even 25 years ago, you could now still Google information that was placed in magazines, so you still can find the same type of information if you really are a great researcher. And research is one of my expertise as well. But I like what social media is today. I really like it. However, you have to be able to not let it take over you. you know, um, Now they have all these stats about, on your phone, you can actually see how long you actually spend on your iPhone or your Android, how many hours you're spending on the internet. And it's like, oh wow, you don't even realize how often and how much time you're spending. So I like the fact that that's trackable. I like the fact that you can meet people like you. I'm in the United States and you're in Canada. And so
Yes.
that's brilliant. That's the brilliant part of social media that I do like. And I just feel like you have to take some time away for anything that you do. That if you overdo anything, you still have to take some time away from it, if it's radio, TV, or the internet. Marketing is a tool that you need if you're in business. I don't feel that you can survive without doing some form of marketing. Um, where is going with AI? I just recently had an event in June. It was inspiring lives through faith, music, and wellness. And I used that AI technology to promote my event. So it was me in the form of AI coming out to talk about this event. And I really liked it. And I was like, okay, I could see how AI can take your business to the next level and do the work for you, which you can lay back a little bit and not have to be stressed as much. And oftentimes, you just have to check behind AI, because the old saying when I was in college was garbage in, garbage out. So you have to be careful about what you feed AI to see the outcome. So you have to be an expert in what you're doing to feed AI, because AI may spit something out that if you're not an expert in your field, you might let it slip and go. And it could be something that could be, not accurate, or it could really be a negative impact on what it is that you're doing in terms of school, terms of business, in terms of radio or TV, because you don't want to put out false information. And I'm a big believer on fact checking.
Absolutely. Now, as for AI, which can be a good tool, do you see it diminishing the workforce in the next 5, 10 years and going beyond?
Unfortunately, I have to say yes. For a lot of jobs, and we seeing it, we reading about it in the newspapers, and online. And the reason why is because I see how I can utilize it almost as a virtual assistant myself without having to pay someone. It saves me some time, but again, you have to make sure that you don't just take away the human behaviors, the human technology of just being able to have that human relationship with another person. That's important. That's just as important, even as a commercial, right? In marketing, we use a lot of commercials that have subliminal messaging. And with AI, it could be even more tricky. And that's the downfall. And I do believe jobs that are not that are physical, maybe I could see AI robots taking over some of those positions. But if you remember, in Detroit, the car dealership had robotic um machine, almost like robots helping with putting cars together. I think it was GM. So it's not that it's going to take away a lot of jobs, but I do believe it's going to take away about 20% of the jobs that exist today, because we have to stay abreast of technology and be aware of how to use it. I just feel a little uneasy with people that are aging, you know,
Like,
that's retired, or yeah, like over 65, over 75, that even going to the doctor for blood work, you don't even, the person is there, but they send you to the machine to put everything in, from your driver's license to this to that, before you can even be seen. So eventually it could be a robot behind that person behind the glass. So that's the part that I don't like. that I hope that the people who are the gatekeepers of all of these industries will keep in mind that we still need human existence, that real person. That's
Absolutely.
yeah.
And you got to be careful too on social media, on TikTok and some of Instagram, because some of these
Right.
celebrities are saying certain things and it's not actually them, it's AI generated. So AI can be a good
Exactly.
tool. It can be a good tool, but it also can be used for bad things too.
Exactly. And we have to be aware of that and know the difference. I try to make sure with my friends and my family that I educate them as much as I know and find out about AI, because I want them to be aware of what's developing right in front of our faces.
Yeah. I was going to
Mhm.
save this question for later, but I'm going to ask it to you now. What are your
Okay.
thoughts on the shrinking radio industry? And do you feel virtual talk shows like ours will be the norm going forward?
Um, I think we still need the terrestrial radio stations, because the internet radio stations are good. I'm for, spreading as much good information as possible. But we know that sometimes people use things that's supposed to be for good for bad. The internet radio stations are excellent to be able to just get this great content out that people need to hear. But also regular radio stations, they do a better job, I feel personally, um with knowing how to fact check, making sure that what's said over the air, if something is said over the air, they are reprimanded or they are fined or they are taken off the air. With internet radio stations, you might have just that sole proprietor, like, you own yours, I own mine. So what regulations are monitoring us and keeping us accountable for the information that we are spreading?
Do you see, D. Nicole, in the future, live streaming and podcasting are like registered, but in either in the states, in Canada, in the world? And I can probably speak for yourself and myself too.
Hmm.
I treat every show that I do like a radio show because I was on a radio station in Georgia for 2 years, and unfortunately, my show and the station got downsized. So I treat this like I'm on radio right now, and this is my goal, is to get back onto radio. And you can do radio from home as well with this technology.
Absolutely. And that's the positive side of everything. I do feel like there should be and may be some type of regulations for us. And I'm all for that because I want to be accountable for what I'm doing. However, I started mine because of the pandemic. That's
Same
how
here.
I
Same here.
prefer.
Same here.
And
Yep.
yeah, and the reason is to be able to reach audiences that may not listen to the radio station as often, or some radio stations might offer something totally different from another radio station. So, and to get the real information that we needed at that time, I made sure that I brought on specialists, experts about COVID, um, anything that I could find about food pantries and things like that. I made sure that I pushed it out, because you have a lot of organizations, nonprofits, and churches that may not utilize the radio stations because of the finances, right? And so, internet stations like yours and mine, with me, I use the platform Instagram mainly because I was focused more on TV than actual radio. I loved TV. I never really worked at a radio station. I always passed by that because that wasn't really my interest at that time. But God knows best. So, you never know when you are going to shift. When the market shifts sometime, the economy, you have to shift. And so that led me to Instagram because I felt that it was a unique selling proposition in terms of being able to have people to see me as well as reaching various countries, not just local
Yep.
and national, right?
Yep.
And so, I interviewed people from West Africa, from the UK, from various countries as well in the States, because just about everyone has a cell phone and the internet.
Nowadays, you have to survive in this
Exactly.
world.
Absolutely. So that was my focus. And, because at the time when I first started, there was a lot of podcasts, but at that time, podcast was mostly audio, right?
Yep.
So, people, so what I wanted to do is I wanted people to see me, to recognize me and know that, hey, I'm here to support the community. I'm here to support other countries of what they're doing so that we could like communicate back and forth and see how we can collaborate. So I did a lot of collaborations, which was awesome. Networking is cool, but collaborations is even better.
Absolutely. And I've done some TV work as a camera operator. And I noticed one thing with TV, everything is more compressed and stricter than radio. But I love doing my show with camera because I like people seeing my face. But I'm comfortable on radio, but I'm also comfortable in front of a camera. And one thing I tell everybody is when you're doing a podcast or a live stream talk show, even radio, be yourself. Don't try to be somebody that you're not.
Right, that's good. That was real good. Yeah, I'm always me. I'm funny, I'm witty, I'm smart, I'm a whole bunch of things wrapped up, And I always make people feel very I always make people feel very comfortable when they come on my show.
I think we haven't known each other a long time, but I think we have the same kind of philosophy. I want my guests to feel comfortable, build a rapport with them, and eventually have them come back on again in the future.
Yes, I would love to.
Now, you mentioned this before, and you're no longer a teacher in that, but how would you describe yourself as a teacher, and what do you miss most about the teaching profession, being a teacher?
Actually, I was a professor at a
Professor.
university, yeah, for about
Okay.
13 years. Well, actually, I was working for the university. I started as a learning resource center assistant. That's the person who works in the library. From there, I became the learning resource manager. So I went from assistant to a manager, and from there I started like teaching classes on AP, how to use AP, APA. And then from there I started having events and things because my marketing always kicks in. And became a student support manager. So I was on the operations side. And from that perspective of having a variation of um, positions at the university, I was promoted as adjunct professor by one of the VPs who looked at how I was managing everything and saw my personality and my background. I had already taught classes um, at a nonprofit organization that was under the umbrella of Small Business Administration in the community for probably 3 or 4 years prior to seeking employment with the university. So I had the background of teaching marketing 100 to small business owners before I actually came to the university. And so once I started that process, it was just, as the young people say, it was just on and popping. And I just loved it and just made a career out of it. I miss my students. I miss being able to keep them abreast of what's going on. I pray often that even throughout the pandemic, that they remembered what I taught them about supply chain management. And every now and then, one of my students will reach out and say, "Hi, Professor Newman. Oh, wow, everything that you taught us, in marketing about the economy." And because economics was a major chapter for marketing 100. And so that econ was like one of my favorites to teach. So the supply and demand. So all of that process that I taught them actually happened during the pandemic. So I do miss it sometimes, but recently when I scheduled my event that I had in June, I had the opportunity to talk about marketing, marketing your business. And even as a gospel artist, how do you market yourself, your music? And then we had some small business people that attended. So I was able to talk to them. And I felt like, oh my God, my professor hat is coming back. So yeah, I do miss it from time to time. And I'm thinking about going back as an adjunct professor at another college in Maryland. So I'm working on that. So I might still be teaching a marketing class.
We have we have a viewer watching on Instagram, and she's
Mhm.
my next guest tomorrow. I made a mistake on my promo, so I wanted to let her name's Donna Lee Lamendola. She's a comedian out of Texas, and I made everybody makes boo boos, including myself.
Right.
Our show is for tomorrow, Tuesday, August 5th at 4:30 p.m. So Donna Lee, I'm excited to have you on. And Donna Lee, I want to say thank you for watching this show. And if you have any questions for
Hello.
Nicole or myself, please feel free to comment in the comment section as well. And that's something I've been learning too, to get my audience to participate in my shows more with comments and
Hmm.
questions and that as well. So yes, everybody makes mistakes, and the only way you learn in a career and get better is to learn from your mistakes.
Oh, absolutely. Chris, if you started during the pandemic, I know that I have so many bloopers. I could do a show with showing all my bloopers in 2020 when I first started. It cracks me up. So yeah, you learn, from your mistakes, and you get better and better and better each time that you do a live interview or tell a story or just come on and just, talk to people, you
N-
know? So yeah,
nobody's perfect, and the only way you get better is to learn. And you want people to see the human side of yourself as well.
yes, absolutely. And even on TV, they make mistakes. I mean,
Yes.
and that's what I like about live, is because, hey, what you see is what you get, you know?
And my show has been live since I started it March of 2020. So I want to say congratulations to you as well on over 5 years as well. And
Oh, thank you.
it flies by. You're very welcome. It flies by when it's a passion of yours. And just talking to you, I can
Yes.
see how whatever you do. Nicole, how passionate you are. And that's how I tell students that I talk to, whatever career you go into, make
Hmm.
sure you have a passion for that career. And education is important in the classroom, but it also doesn't stop when you're out of a classroom as well. I am completely self-taught into radio and media 5.5 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, I mean I have some radio friends actually that were giving me, some tidbits here and there, but during the pandemic, you basically had to figure it out, Google, even though my background, my degrees both, business marketing and my MBA, that did not prepare me to do a live. It did not. That was strictly, self-taught, that part.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Nicole, I wanted to ask you this. Who are some of your early influences and mentors into your career?
Oh, some of my early influences. Well, what really there's a couple of people, that's not even like big. I always had a big admiration and admired Oprah Winfrey. I never missed the show when she first started. I never forget that. And I used to say, "Woo, if I ever make it big, I want to go on the Oprah Winfrey show." And then the other was for me, the Black Enterprise, which was the magazine. Those were my two. I was like, if I get on the cover of that, oh, I know I've made it, da da da. Not knowing about 25, 30 years ago that that's just the beginning. It was like it's still so much work even after that. So but those two, and for TV purposes, I also used to admire the work of Marlo Thomas. That girl. Now I'm showing my age, I'm sure. But because that gave me a idea that just because, oh, if I want to go to college, if I want to get a job, you don't have to get married. You can, be a career woman. So that was really one of the things. And my mom was an entrepreneur as well as, a mom, a wife. She was very active in church. I was brought up in the church. So Dr. Alfonso Harrod was a big mentor growing up in the church because he was a entrepreneur. He was a doctor from Howard University, pastor, but he was well diverse in the arts and music. And he was my first instructor to teach me how to play the piano, even though I don't play now. But my early years, he was, my parents, wanted me to learn how to play the piano. But I watched him and I learned about my etiquette. I learned about customer service and all of these things that you need going into marketing through my upbringing at church. And that's how I decided in the 80s that I wanted to major in marketing, business marketing. So, yeah, those are
How
the people.
and I'm sorry that your mom passed away. I know how hard it is to lose a parent. I lost a father when I was 13 years old, 2 days before
Oh,
Christmas,
wow.
and I was told I wasn't going to amount to anything. I wasn't going to get through school, and
Mm,
I proved a lot of these people wrong. So it doesn't matter at what age you lose your parent; it's always difficult. And my
yeah.
deepest condolences and sympathies.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, both of my parents are deceased, and my father was a great, great, great mentor as well. But I was very young when he passed away. But I guess then at that point I was just daddy's little girl, But my mom is the one who really taught me how to be a young woman and how important education was for me. So yeah. And as you know, I have a book out that's pretty much
Yes.
dedicated to my mom.
Mom.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I wanted to get to this next question, and it was, how did you come about starting up your own business, D Nicole and Company, and how important was it having your education and your marketing experience when you started up your own business?
I have always been an entrepreneur, and I think it's because of, again, my family. There was several members of my family that owned their own business, so that was something that my younger self wanted to do, and it might have been because I was in a small little country town in Southern Maryland. And it was like I wanted more. I knew that there was more out there from watching TV. I was a big television buff always, movies. I've always enjoyed both of those. I don't know, it's because my mom was kind of strict, so I couldn't go out. I wasn't hanging out. So I guess that's why I watched a lot of television. But so I kind of had that entrepreneurship spirit in me. High school, on the drama uh club, always participating in plays and things like that. So I feel like, there's more for me to do even in acting. That's something I would be interested, or writing on a TV show or something like that. So I knew I wanted to do business. And when I went to college, I was one of the first to start NAACP chapter on campus. So I've always had those leadership qualities, I guess you could say. And so I wanted to, really just do something great. I always wanted to do something great with my life. I never wanted to do something that was just mediocre. I wanted to serve. I realize now that I'm a servant. That's what I like to do. I like to help people. I like to create things. I'm a real good creator. And so I decided my first business was Choice Enterprises. And prior to that, I've owned my own African art store. I, was the first young person to volunteer for a political party, for a county commissioner in my hometown. So I've always been pretty outgoing. And when I started Choice Enterprises about 25 years ago, it was a marketing and promotional company. And so I did that for probably about 7 or 8 years. Then, you move on, you get married, you have a child, have a son. And then recently, during the pandemic, is when I started um, my business, Nicole Company. And the company part is because I can collaborate with other businesses. So I decided to go with Dina Cole and Company. So, the degrees help because it helps you with understanding the importance of research, understanding the importance of statistical data analysis, being able to interpret it, you know, um, analysis. I mean, you learn all that from school. You can self teach yourself a lot, but having someone who's an expert teaching you and guiding you, I think is valuable, you know. And so with the combination of experience and education, I think it's a win-win. With today's society, with the cost of education, I would be more careful in choosing where I'm attending. If you can go in your own state, it'll probably be cheaper. If you can get scholarships and things like that, and you have to start with your high school students as early as ninth grade, preparing them for what they want to do in life, but more importantly, letting them know the expense of education and these student loans. And I'm not even going to discuss this whole mess behind the student loans, but be mindful of the costs as well as where you attend, and especially the accreditation, of course, is important.
Absolutely. Now, Dean Nicole, I wanted to ask you for those people that are watching our show live stream or later on audio, and they're looking to become entrepreneurs, what advice would you give to the new entrepreneurs based on your experience?
I would say listen to people who are doing what you're doing. There's going to be always people telling you, "Oh, you can't do this," or "Why are you doing this?" or "This is not the industry." Do what you are passionate about. What is your hobby maybe that you're doing? You can create that into a business. I would also tell them don't be afraid of being a serial entrepreneur, having multiple businesses, you know, and putting them under one umbrella and structure your business, and don't just start doing a business and not have the structure of the business. Meaning, if you're going to be a sole proprietor, you can start off as that and then move up to the LLC. So making sure you have your business structured. Invest in property as early as you can. Those are a few things that I would tell them.
What's the number one common mistake that you see in new entrepreneurs these days?
Not really thinking through having a business plan, a marketing plan to really see, is this really what I want to do? Have a vision board, write the vision and make it plain. I have a whiteboard in my room. So if I have an idea or thought, it goes on the board. But just organizing your thoughts, organizing and be organic about what you really want to do with your life, what you really want to do with your career. It can change. My God, mine has changed over the years. But you can organize yourself. I think that's, and financially, you've got to realize that you have to make an investment in yourself. So there is a cost, you know. I would also recommend, and I'm just doing this now, create a nonprofit organization as well. So those are some good tidbits.
Well said. What were some early challenges of starting up your own business?
Uh, when I worked like years and years ago, when I started my own business, what I found so difficult is everything was spread out everywhere. When I mean like, okay, what's the first thing I need to know? What's the first thing should I do when I want to start my own business? Um, do I call the IRS to get an EIN number? Do I name the business? Do I do my research first? It was like there was not one location that I could go to. Of course, Small Business Administration existed at that, during that time. But, you call one number and, oh, wait, let me transfer you to the such and such department. And it was a lot of that. And then you say, okay, maybe I should join Small Business Administration, minority business for me, because I'm African American, I'm a woman. So minority business, oh, chamber of commerce. So you find yourself, all over the place. There was not one centralized location. And even right now, there's really not one centralized location. And that's where the educational part comes in, I think, or having a mentor that's willing to guide you through, that's already in business. And oftentimes they would tell you the same thing. When I first got started, I had $500, I had $100, and I did this, I did that, I borrowed from family, I did, so I think that if you get a mentor today, and because of technology where we are today, it's easier. It's easy. You could go to Chat GPT and ask, what's the first five things that's important that I need to know to start my own business? And I guarantee you'll get some good resources. And now they have SCORE, which are like counselors that will help you.
What type of clientele do you have currently?
Well, of course, I'm in the gospel music industry in terms of working with artists. However, things change. I've found out that I could still do other things to support artists without being hands on. I can have events, I can have showcases, I can have tours. So there's so many other things that I can do. I've worked in the rodeo business a little bit. I enjoyed that. I had one client, but we did a lot together for a couple of years. Um, I have worked with small business owners, trying to help them navigate, the whole marketing, promotion, advertisement process. Um, Right now, I've worked at so many little nonprofit organizations. I've worked in a lot of different areas. Um, I'm looking towards sports right now and real estate. Those are my two that I'm really focused in for, I think, to take me through this next season of my career.
How important, I know I'm wearing a hat right now, but how important is it, especially as an entrepreneur or any career that you're in, how important is it to wear many different hats? And also, another word I wanted to use with you is flexible. How important is the word flexible too in these days?
I can't see what is your hat, your business, or it's another. I
It's
can't even
Nike.
see.
It's a Nike hat, but
Oh,
I
oh,
but I am in the process of getting my own hat and my own
okay.
shirt and my own coffee mug. So branding and
Oh
marketing,
yeah, Brandon is
I'm working it
yes.
on it.
Yes, 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 yes. I have my own testimony Friday mask, and I that of course was created through the pandemic. So I have my own mask. I have t-shirts with the hoods. for the rain and pockets and for exercising. I do want my own mugs, and I have some designers, put together a collection of mugs. And I'm all, oh, nice, nice. Okay, we have to swap. I have to send you Testimony Friday. You have to send me one of your, because I'm a coffee drinker.
Okay.
And I mean, big coffee drinker. Everybody knows. Like I'm in the process of getting some coffee right now from out of the country that I know is really good coffee. And I also like teas. I'm trying to do the teas at night, just for wellness and trying to cut back a little bit of the coffee and kind of transitioning to teas. So branding is always important. Branding is important. I try to tell some of my clients, like, brandon is, of course, you have your Facebook page, as you have my logo in the back. I have a logo and I see you have it up, with the microphone. So that's my logo. I'm really consistent on Testimony Friday with D Nicole. Just about whenever I'm on, I'm always saying, "Hi, this is D Nicole from Testimony Friday," and I usually try to end with that as well. And I know that's something that a lot of my radio friends say is so important. The ones that've been in the industry for like 30 years, So that's something I do automatically. Um, so yeah, branding, is very, very important. Colors, I try to keep the same color schemes. If I decide to change my color, then I'm important to do some research on, okay, where am I going? Because certain countries, it could be offensive if you have certain colors. So all of that's important. Um, and also with branding, not just having material, having product, but being consistent on what you saying you're going to brand and actually doing. Like, if you're a brand, like for me, I'm very careful about even how I conduct myself outside of being on Testimony Friday. Now, Testimony Friday, that tells you testimony. So that automatically tells you this is an inspirational talk show, right? So I'm not going to be out publicly doing something that's opposite of what I'm doing. That's part of branding as well. How you look, even some, the younger folks are more into imagery, what you're looking like. I try to make sure I always look presentable and stuff like that, but my photos and things like that, I try my videos. I do, sometimes it may not be the best, but like I said, it's a learning curve. But more importantly, it's authentic information and content that I'm always putting out. Okay, because
Consistency. Consistency.
consistency.
Consistency.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
D Nicole, are you okay for a few more questions, a few more minutes?
Oh, sure, sure.
Okay.
I'm enjoying, hey, I'm in Canada.
Is
That's
this the fir-
wonderful.
is this your first talk show that's from Canada?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
So I'm number one. You're
You're
first.
number one. You're number
Number
one.
one.
So when I take my trip to Canada, I'm gonna have to come and be right there on the show with you, and because that's definitely on my. I've been to Niagara Falls, of course, but that's the tourist area. And that was, whew, God, that was probably almost 15, 18 years ago, maybe.
Wow. The time goes fast, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. But I enjoyed myself. I was like, this is the cleanest place I've ever been to. I don't know if it's still like that, but it was so pretty. It's so beautiful and the fresh. It seemed like the air was fresh. I never forget. I had a wonderful time. I believe I was there for like I think it was 4 days, 4 or 5 days. It was a bus trip.
Did you get to check out the winery? Because Niagara on the Lake is our version of Napa Valley is in California for wines.
Yes, because I purchased some champagne and some wine. I think it was only two because I think that's all we could bring back or something like that. And it was the best champagne ever. I
Have
was
you? Tr-
like, I can't remember what it was, but it was the best. I never forget. And this, like I said, again, that was about 15, 20 years ago, but I enjoyed my stay. And often I have mentioned to my girlfriends, let's go to Toronto. They have this big festival every year.
Yep. Caravana.
Yes.
It's going on right now, and I'm
Oh,
only an hour from Toronto. Toronto is our version of New York and LA. It's crazy. There's always something going on down there, and you're better off taking public transit to drive there. Is probably the most. It's probably the number one city in North America for traffic, along with LA and New York.
oh, in Atlanta. Let's not
Yes,
forget Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yes. But
Yes.
yeah, I'm about an hour from Toronto, and I'm about an hour and 10 minutes from Niagara Falls, Ontario. So if you do come back
Oh.
to the province of Ontario in the future,
Mhm.
let me know. And I do,
Yeah.
and by the way, I love doing my virtual talk show, but I also now, for the last couple years, I've been doing in-person interviews, and I love them even more because you got to really
Mhm.
think on your feet and really
Mhm.
listen to your guests even more doing it
Mhm.
live in person.
Oh yeah, definitely. Fun.
Did you try poutine when you were here? French fries, gravy, and cheese curds?
Yes, I did. Yes.
It's a Canadian tradition here.
I loved it. I had a good time. I really did. I'm looking forward to. It's on my list to go back for sure.
Just let me know. Hey, as we wrap up the show, D. Nicole, I just got a few more questions for you. Can you just tell us a little bit about being an author and your book you wrote, We Cared for Each Other, and how dementia and Parkinson's disease took my mom's life and changed mine forever?
Yeah. I started journaling. That's how I started. When I was caregiving for my mom, it was just so much. I just started writing notes. For one, what I used to do whenever any one of us in the family would take my mom to the doctor, I had this folder with all this information, and you had to put down what the doctor said. What was the doctor's remarks about the appointment, any new medications. I always gave them a list of the medication she was currently on. And so my family used to crack up because I would give them this folder and I was like, I need that information back because I got to keep track. And so it went from that point to me just journaling every day because I could see the change in my mom, how dementia uh, had changed her in so many ways. And some days she would be herself, some days she was totally off until it got to the point where some days she didn't know I was her daughter. She thought I was her niece, or she knew I was someone that loved her or she loved. And so it was very hard. So I had to journal just so that I could control my emotions with her by writing everything down. And so after, journaling for a couple of months, and I was still teaching at the university. I had went from full time to adjunct so that I could spend more time with my mom and, be there for her and the doctors and I had a caregiver at that time, just one. So a couple of my colleagues was like, Dina, you need to go ahead and write a book. If you journaling, you can turn this journal into a book. And I said, you really think so? And they was like, yes. And they were encouraging me to do my PhD because I was one of the really one of the top marketing professors. When I say top, meaning I taught just as many classes as my colleagues who had PhDs, or if they were going to be absent, I would be their choice to sub because I really loved teaching. I really loved what I was doing. I was passionate and caring, and I had a lot of experience, not just academically, but with student support. So I had a good rapport with the students. And so I said, okay. So I started turning the journal into a book, and I just started Microsoft Word, typing. And I asked one of my best business friends, Carla, if she would edit for me. And then she recommended a publishing company. And that's how I kind of got started with the whole process. And it's an excellent book. I'm going to autograph you a copy, Chris, and mail it to you.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Now, for those people watching live stream or on audio, and they know somebody that's going through dementia or Parkinson's, what advice would you give to them from your experience with your late mom?
First, purchase my book. It has everything in there. That's
Okay.
number one. And it's on Amazon. Um, but I would say if you see any changes in your loved one, it could be your mom, your dad, your spouse. I haven't seen Parkinson enter in young people. I think Michael J. Fox was probably the youngest I had ever heard
Yes.
in terms of Parkinson disease, and Muhammad Ali. They were the only two, but I found out after research they were just the only two celebrities that we heard, but it was many, many, many. It was thousands of people, millions of people across the countries. However, if you see any changes in forgetfulness, I think that would be the first one, just starting to forget. I'm not saying like we all forget. Like I could come upstairs and be like, "Oh my God, what did I come up here for?" Right?
I did that today when I was driving my car, and I'm like,
Yeah.
where am I going to? And then
Right.
I
Well,
remembered, yeah.
not well. I haven't had that experience driving, but I will come upstairs and be like, "Oh my God, what did I come up here for?" And I was like, "I have to remember because I'm not going back down those steps and having to come back up." However, what I'm talking more about is my mom would do something like speak out of turn by saying something that was like unusual that she would never say. And then when I talked to her about it, she'd be like, "I said that?" And I'm like, "Yes, you did, mom." So I started noticing little things like that. Um, I started noticing some other behavior things like in her room, I found out that maybe she wasn't taking her medication, or I would go, she was diabetic. So I would check her book and notice that she did not record her. She used to have to prick her finger because she was diabetic. And I was like, "Mom, you didn't record." She was, "Yes, I did. Yes." So you start seeing little things like that. And you have to question. I started questioning the medication that she was on. She was taking, I think it was metformin. She was taking like three different medications: high blood pressure, diabetic medicine, and cholesterol. So I started thinking, well, maybe it's time to cut back some of this medication. And so that was the beginning of it. And then so you just have to be aware. I think you just have to be aware. If you live with that person, I think it's much easier to identify versus if your parents or your mom or dad live on their own and you just going to visit. But I would say, be mindful of your loved ones. We should all be concerned about our parents. Unfortunately, everybody don't have that good relationship, but try to start looking into, yeah, I noticed something about my parents, and just think about the aging process. AARP says what, 50, you can get your membership 55. Now if you want to move into a senior place, they have the 55 and older, they have the 62 and older. So when you start getting to those numbers, you have to be aware that things are changing with you physically, mentally, right? So I think you just have to start realizing if your mom and dad is over 65, just kind of start checking, making sure things are in order. Even if you do a Thanksgiving, Christmas, family reunions, make it a part of the family dynamics to have conversations. "Hey, mom, dad, do we have life insurance on you? when is your next checkup? I would like to go, just be there with you, because do it early than later, because they get very agitated if you wait till like 75 years old and you want to make some changes in their life. They are usually very protective of losing their identity. So, yes. So just start early.
How therapeutic was writing this book for yourself, and how satisfying was it to write this book and hopefully help other people out there when they read your book?
It was very therapeutic for me. It helped me get through the hurt that I was feeling watching my mom um demise right in front of my eyes. Like literally, seeing her change from her looks to her behavior, her weight, and then going through the process of seeing her through the dying stage. So to the point now where if I see someone that's a sickness, a illness that's really bad, I can almost see that they're dying. I can actually see that process, and I just think that's a discernment that I have through my faith, because I can see it. And I'm telling you, I've been correct so far. I mean, in terms of someone who might have Alzheimer's, or dementia or cancer. My mom also was a breast cancer survivor, so I went through that process with her. She had a mastectomy. So I went through that process of chemotherapy as well as radiation with her. So it was like a 10-year process of caregiving for my mom. So yeah, it was difficult. That's why at this point in my life, I'm sure about what I want to do. I'm very positive about life because I've seen so much death, and we're losing my husband, losing my mom, and so many family members between COVID and now. So life is precious.
It's short. It's really short.
Yeah, so we need to live our life as much as possible, as positive and passionate as we can, and be forgiving. you know but
That's something
yeah.
that's something
Yes.
I'm working on. I've got to do a better job on letting things go and moving on.
So writing that book, I feel like it's going to help many, many generations, even within my own family. I'll say, please read my book. Especially, I have family members that had to take care of their mom, and I was like, please read my book. And let me tell you, it will have an effect on family. If you have siblings, if you have a big family, 9 out of 10 it's going to be one or two people. If it's six of you, probably two of you going to be the ones who's going to be the caregiver, or it could be three of you and only one is going to be the caregiver. And what I have realized is that everybody cannot be a caregiver. It's a special assignment. It really is. It's a special assignment, and you have to have the compassion of unconditional love, okay, and the willpower to do things that you don't want to do. From I had to burp my mom. It's almost like as the aging process, and my mom reverted back to almost childlike behaviors, physic physiological behaviors, like the burping when you eat. And then with Parkinson, you have so many things that go on with the Parkinson's, with the swallowing, and things like that. It's even hard to cough, and it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a very emotional process, and only the last couple of years have I been able to really speak on it without getting emotional myself. I will have to read my book over because I plan on doing like a series
Okay.
this fall. And I was like, oh God, I gotta read the book, because I gotta refresh everything that I said. Now I can speak on various things. There's some things that I didn't even put in the book. It's a tearjerker, trust me, but it has some positive things in there, has resources in there. It helps you to know how you have to be very strong, not only for the loved one, but for when you go for these doctor's appointments. You got to know how to research and understand about the neurologist and the primary care doctor and the hospitals and the it's just a lot to do. And it's a lot you need to be strong about and be able to. It's like a twofold. It's not a, one-sided situation. You just caregiving for someone. That's it. You got the medication. You also got the doctors to deal with. And you're gonna run into a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to the very important thing is to make sure you have good health care, the best that you can afford. Don't take it for granted. Healthcare is a priority with aging.
We're lucky here in Canada that we're covered. Now
Oh,
we do pay for our health care through our taxes because our taxes are higher than the states, but we have universal health care here, and
no.
it really helps. Thank God, because as I have cousins in Michigan, and one cousin has cancer right now, and the medical costs are staggering. It's really expensive. So I'm praying one day your country will have
Look,
um,
that's the one thing that would make me move is the healthcare.
care. Yes,
I'm
it's very
serious.
expensive. Yes, it's
Yes.
our system's not perfect, but it's pretty good overall.
Yes, I
Yeah,
know. And that's the one thing that's right now I'm faced with looking at healthcare because I've realized how important it is, from caregiving with my mom. And now as I'm over the 55 mark, I'm over
no
the
way. I thought you were
60.
30. You look
No,
30.
I'm over that 55, 60 mark. So it's like it's important. And I tell my son, he watched, my son is 34, so he knows about caregiving and how important health insurance is. And so we both are talking about, look, we there might be a move coming. Because that is like super important. Your health.
Absolutely. And your mental health too. That's another
Oh
subject we can
yes.
talk about, because
Yes.
when you're a caregiver, you also have to look after your mental health too, because what you're doing can be hard on yourself as well, and
It
for you,
was.
and
I
for
was, yeah.
yeah.
I sprained my wrist, lifting, it's so the expression of dead weight. So even though my mom had lost a lot of weight, she was very bone structure, was she probably was a size regular I don't know, 16 to 14 to 12 to 8 to 7, a size 7 by the time she passed away. And but if she couldn't lift herself, so it's like you literally lifting. And I remember I had sprained my wrist. It was just a lot. It was, and I didn't even know it. I caught the flu, and I still had to work. I still had to, move through it. Um, you don't eat right because you making sure that person eat right. And I still have my son who was in high school, getting ready to go to college. It was a lot. But to God be the glory, I got through it. And you can't do it by yourself. I'm gonna tell you, I don't care what nobody says. You have to have faith and you have to pray about the situation because I don't know how else I would have gotten through it and still be here to talk to you. As my mom been deceased, she passed away 2015.
I should have wrote this down. Now we're talking about memory. I should have wrote this down, but Yeah, I usually write down stuff. I always have a piece of paper and pen with me, but
Hmm.
you know what? I'll remember it. But okay, now I remembered it.
Okay.
Again, your book is available on Amazon, but is it available on any other online platforms or in bookstores as well?
No, during the pandemic, when I was supposed to have a book, I was going to have a tour, a book tour, a book signing. Everything got shut down. I was so disappointed. And I did eventually have a book signing, but I kind of like just I've attended a few book fairs, books, vending and stuff like that, friends, family, and because I do push it out during certain times of the year, especially right now, they're dementia and stuff like that. Anytime that's coming up, I put it out. But I'm working on a new book, and it's called, and this is you're the first to know. It's called Who Am I? And it's going to be almost like a part two from my first book, We Cared for Each Other. So it's called Who Am I? And I'm looking to be finished and launching that in October. And then I would have like a bundle package. And then I'll be pushing that out, not just on Amazon, but hopefully Barnes and Noble and some other bookstores and stuff.
You can count on me to buy your book, and I wouldn't mind a signed copy too.
Okay, no problem. I'll send you a signed copy and you can always, you know, cash at me a Zelle or whatever. No problem.
As we wrap up our show, Dee Nicole, again, how did you come up about starting your own talk show in July 2020? Congratulations on 5 years. And where can my audience here in Canada tune into your podcast show? And I think it was on an internet radio station as well, you were mentioning?
Well, I'm not currently on the internet radio station because the morning show stopped. It was an internet show. See, and that also gave me another thought. So he ended his show, and he's a program director for another radio station, which I'm so happy and so proud of, D Rock. But so my show was on his show. So of course, if he stopped, mine stopped. But we're hoping to bring it back, later, maybe with something he might be doing in the future. But I have been asked and working on putting together my show to go on to other stations coming up this summer. Actually, I'm in the process of working on that right now. So just as soon as I, you know, finish everything that I need to do to finalize, I'll let you know, and it'll be on two different internet radio stations that has been in existence for a long time. So I don't think I have to worry about the show ending, you know. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But you can hear me right now on Testimony Friday with D Nicole on IG um on Fridays. But now I'm kind of on a summer break. So I don't start back again until September. But on
Okay.
Fridays at 12 noon on Instagram.
Fridays, 12 o'clock on IG. Okay. And people
Hmm.
can follow you on Instagram and they can find out when your next episode is as
Yes.
well. So, congratulations. How many episodes have you done so far in your 5 years?
Oh, I'm probably up to 160.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I know, right? But see, lately it's been like once a month, sometimes twice a month, because I've been busy doing other projects. And even though I might not be having a interview every Friday, I'm always doing something. Like
Something.
next week, actually, no, Saturday, I'm headed to Martha's Venue for a gospel festival. And so I will be in Martha's Vineyard for about 6 days. Whoop, whoop. And
Enjoy.
yeah, so on Monday it's on my page, on my page. You can find me on Facebook, IG, TikTok, and LinkedIn.
I'll have to
So
look for you on TikTok.
Yes. So on all of my pages, it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful gospel fest, and the featured artist is Tamla Mann. So if you guys know about the Browns, meet Tyler Perry, Meet the Browns, Tamla Mann is on that show, and her husband David plays Mr. Brown, and he's like the comedian. So, but she's an awesome gospel artist, and so she will be the feature for this event. And this event, what I love about this event, it is a benefit for the homeless population on Martha's Vineyard and food disparity that takes place and exists. So I love the fact that I'm going to be a part of something that's still gospel music, but a benefit for the homeless population on Martha's Vineyard. So I get to do my business, interview. So I will be doing it, interview. I'll be interviewing backstage for that event. And it takes place August the 11th.
Is there a website for people to check out?
It is, and it's on my page.
Okay.
Let me see if I could. It's on my pages.
Okay.
I don't know it by heart because this, of course, I'm helping with the promotions. I am not the actual promoter for the event, so I don't know it by heart. Hold on, I can find out real quick. Um,
And I think the next time I have you on my show, we'll have to talk more about gospel music and who are some of your favorite artists and who are some of the greatest
oh,
and
yes,
what makes a great gospel singer. So when I have you back again,
yes.
we'll get into that a little bit more too.
Yes. Let's see. You can if you go on eventbrite.com,
Okay.
you can pull up information on Gospel in Action Vineyard Grace Foundation is the name of the organization.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing that
Yes.
with our audience.
Yes. So you can if you live anywhere in the Boston area close by Martha's Vineyard, you can take the ferry over and hang out and enjoy not just Martha's Vineyard but the actual event
Well, make
because
sure
it's a
you
good cause.
absolutely, and you're seeing more homelessness in Canada as well.
Oh,
It's not just in the States. There's homelessness coming more in Canada because of the cost of everything nowadays, and you're seeing it in
yes.
other countries and around the world. So I
Hmm.
think it's a good cause, and it's always important to give back to other people.
Yes, I that's the best part of this entire thing that I'm doing something that's giving back and helping someone. I had no idea that the homeless population existed like that at Martha's Vineyard, which is one of the most expensive places to stay.
Absolutely. Dean Nicole, as we wrap up this show, what is a fun fact about yourself? And do you have a question for the host CDP before we wrap things up?
Fun thing about me is I I have a lot of comedian in me. I love to make people laugh, and I'm just funny overall. I think it's just part of my personality. But my girlfriends, they tell me I have such a way of expressing myself that's so funny. I make something that may be like not bad, but something that may not look as beautiful. I can turn it into something so funny until they'd be like, "Girl, I never thought it would be like that." So I have a good personality in terms of making people happy and feeling comfortable and then just enjoying themselves. And I'm a good cook.
Oh, since you used the word cook and food, what are some of your favorite things to cook?
Salmon, mashed potato, and spinach. Um, that's my favorite, maybe with a sauce and some grilled shrimp. That's a dinner for breakfast. I've been practicing making French toast lately.
What about
Um,
pancakes? You
oh
make
yeah,
pancakes.
pancakes. Of course, pancakes. But French toast is harder to make than pancakes, right?
Pancakes
Uh,
is my number one thing, so I'm on my way now.
okay. So, and making homemade, biscuits, or I'm practicing those homemade biscuits. I started that over the pandemic. Homemade, meatballs, or potato salad. I can make potato salad really,
Oh,
really well.
okay. I'm on my
Really
way.
well.
I love potato salad.
And then, I do soul food cooking, but I'm learning to cook soul food more healthier now, if that makes sense. So I'll do more baking now than frying. Of course, I can do fried chicken, and the typical meats, steaks, and all of that. I can cook all of that, but every now and then I like to experiment with something totally. Crab cakes, homemade crab cake. I told you I love seafood, so I love crabs. So I crab cakes. I have my mother's recipe. I'm working on a cookbook too, as well, Chris.
Okay.
So
Good to
yeah, I'm
know.
working on a
Good to know.
cookbook. Yeah.
Now I'm hungry. Thanks.
Yes. I have all my mom's recipes. My son is an excellent cook. He cooks better than me.
Wow.
Yes, he's better than
Okay.
me. So,
All
and a
right.
question for you. My question for you is, I can see you doing wonderful things, and I definitely would like to maybe put together a trip coming to Canada, and hopefully I would like for you to host it. Just tell us good places to go, maybe, and then, do something live with you, with your show, and maybe we could put something together, you know, in Canada.
Yes, that sounds good. And by the way, I've had a number of stand-up comedians on my show too, by the way.
I
And
love that lady last
yes,
week.
Gina, I'm trying to think of her last name. I have so many guests on, but
She was
yes,
out of Texas, I believe.
yeah, Gina, and I think her last name was. It started with S, but she was great. I've had about 80
Hmm.
comedians on, and by the way, I've had a couple of female ventriloquists on my show too.
That is too funny. And you into the sports. So, we could definitely, talk sport. How do you got now? Do they ever come to Canada to play football? Because I noticed they're going to different countries now.
The Canadian football, we have our own NFL over here. It's called the
Oh,
Canadian Football League. It's 3 downs. It's 3 downs instead of four, and the field's longer and bigger than in the States. So we have our own Canadian Football League.
wow.
So yes, and I do coverage for the Toronto Argonauts, and I do media coverage for a couple other professional sports teams. We have our own baseball Hall of Fame over here. Canada has such a long history of baseball, even maybe
Really?
longer than the States. Yeah. So anything you need to
I'm a
know.
collector of the Negro Baseball League.
Wow,
I
that's
have some
impressive.
wonderful, wonderful collections.
You'll have to next time you come on my show, you'll have to maybe get some of the items out to show our audience as well, because I'm a baseball historian and we have a lot of history
Really?
of baseball. Babe Ruth's first pro baseball home run was hit in Toronto, at Maple Leaf Stadium, before he became a Boston Red Sox. So his first professional
Mm,
home run was hit at Hanlon's Point in Toronto. So anything you need to know about Canada, feel free to ask.
okay, awesome.
That's awesome. And I want to say, Dee Nicole, thank you for giving us over 90 minutes of your time tonight. And you definitely have an invite to come back on my show again. And I think you should try comedy. I think you should try it. You should try it.
I don't know. I think I could be a good host.
What about ventriloquism? Would you try that?
No, no,
No,
absolutely
no,
not. No.
no. It's not
No.
easy to do. It's not easy to do. And
Mm.
my one guest came from Australia. Her name's Lindy Jane. She's a terrific ventriloquist out of Australia. I had to do the show at
Mm.
3 in the morning our time because Australia is 14 hours ahead of us.
Oh, wow.
So that's one thing you know as a podcaster too. When you have a guest come on, make
Hmm.
sure you know your time zones.
Always. Always.
And do you have a final thought before we wrap this up?
Follow me. Follow me, please, on Testimony Friday with D. Nicole. You can reach me on Facebook at D. Nicole Newman, TikTok, Testimony Friday with D. Nicole, um, LinkedIn. I'm everywhere. You can Google me and find me and follow me and tell someone, tell a friend, tell a, business partner to follow me because I have all types of people that come on my show from all walks of life, and I always have good information. Always.
Definitely. And maybe one day I can be a guest on your show too.
Definitely. I'm gonna bring you on for the sports since you like the Eagles. We're gonna have to definitely plan a conversation and we can talk sports talk all about football teams.
Absolutely. I'm going to save it for the next time you come on, but do you have a favorite Dallas Cowboys player right now currently?
I'm a little mad at them, but
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. They need a new owner.
Oh God. CD Lamb.
Yes, good choice. I don't like the Cowboys, but if I could have one of your players, it would be him. He is a terrific wide receiver, and
Yes.
unfortunately, I don't think he's going to win under that management and the roster they've assembled.
I'm just waiting to see, but I've been a fan since Tony Dorsett.
Wow, back in the late 70s and early 80s, Roger Staubach, Danny
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Drew Pearson,
Julius. Woo. Oh my God.
Tom Landry.
Tom Landry. Mm-hmm.
That's when they were America's team, and they meant something. And since
Yes.
Jerry Jones is, in my opinion, he's kind of ruined that team the last 30 plus years.
Look, I don't even want to have a conversation right now about him because he's not worried about winning a Super Bowl. He has that beautiful stadium, and everybody wants to be there.
Yeah.
To perform.
Well, being a Dallas fan right now, I'm sure the shrinks are seeing more Cowboys fans.
Oh my God, no, not that bad, not that bad. Well, I am here at the home of the Washington Commanders too.
Yes, and they're going to have a good team this year.
I think so.
Next time I come on, I've got a Jaden Daniels story to share with you too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Definitely. And I'm
All
going to have
right.
to, and I have two other talk shows, and another one's a football show. And then I have another one called the Small Talk Podcast with my co-host, Marlene Sharp. She's in the ammunition, the cartoon industry out in Los Angeles. We do that
Okay.
show once a month. I think you would make a great guest for Marlene and myself on the Small Talk Podcast.
Okay, awesome. Look, I'm just a phone call away. That's it.
Deal. And you have my number as well. And I want to say thank you so much for coming on here tonight. I really enjoyed having you as a guest, and I learned a lot from you. And what I'll do, give me a little bit of time today, and I will send you the full video, the audio, and I will do 3 or 4 reels and clips, and I will tag you in on social media.
Okay, get my good side.
Deal. Done.
Good night and hello, Canada. I can't wait to see you.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. All right, everyone. That concludes season 11, episode 17 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph. Speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership, I was there today for their Civic Holiday one-day sale event, and I was able to interview General Manager Paul Cullen, and we're going to play the rest of this interview right now before we wrap up our show tonight.
Realizing that there was a great demand to get these loyalty events back and going, and we were starting to hear customers asking when it was going to come back. So it didn't take too much arm twisting to make it happen, and we did a lot of marketing for it, sending invitations out to our customers, as well as getting some local media out and just spreading the word for it. So we're really excited. It's a busy day in the showroom today. It's fantastic.
What are some of your top selling vehicles here right now at Barry Cullen Chevrolet?
That's an awesome question, Chris. We do a lot of Silverado pickup trucks. It's a really popular car and my personal favorite in the market. Our customers also like to choose the Equinox EV, and the Trax is a great entry-level vehicle, perfect for a lot of different customers.
Do you find right now a lot more people are buying or leasing right now in the industry?
That's another great question. A lot of the choice between a buy and a lease really comes down to customers' preference and what their lifestyle is going to dictate. We have great options for both, and a good mix of incentives for either option.
What are some of the top colors? What are some of the top colors in the vehicles nowadays?
The colors. The market is dictating a lot of mono colors, so we're seeing a lot of whites, blacks, grays, silvers. Every model line also has something a little bit unique on it. We have a Colorado parked in front of our lot in a beautiful light blue color, but we've also got some great reds. There's an orange that floats around a little bit. Some of our EVs come in a light purple color, which is really eye-catching and striking. So the majority of customers are choosing something a little bit more conservative, but if you've got the personality for it, we definitely have a color to suit it.
What time is this event going on to today?
Today we're going to be here till about 6 o'clock, so we encourage customers to get here early before we put too many sold signs in the cars, and while we still have options available.
And you have some food going on for customers that come by the dealership?
Absolutely. We've got some great catering with some fantastic snacks. I was just munching on some of the healthy veggies, and I'm saving some room for dessert later this afternoon.
Can you tell us, Paul, a little bit about your role as general manager of Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership here in Guelph?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So as a general manager, my role is to oversee all of the different operations. So today my focus is on our sales department and supporting the team to get the best deals possible for our customers. But I also get heavily involved in the service experience for our clients and working with our parts department and our collision center to make sure that we are firing on all cylinders for everybody.
How much has the industry changed with the internet and social media the last 10 years?
It's been a huge change. I've been in the industry for 20 years now myself, and constantly seeing evolutions and change. There's a lot of new AI technology that's coming out that's helping us support our customers a little bit better as well. At the end of the day, it is the basics of selling cars and servicing customers, and there are humans and people at the heart of that. And our team, we love, and they do a fantastic job at that. The technology that we bring into place just helps us do it a little bit more efficiently. And at the end of the day, we're just trying to deliver on our 55 years of exceptional service for the Guelph community.
I'm not sure if you can answer this question or not. Have you guys or the dealer, has the auto industry in Canada been affected yet with the tariffs yet coming from the States?
So that's a great question, Chris. There's a lot of confusion and misinformation that's happening with the tariffs, and part of the problem is that they change quite constantly. Currently, all of the vehicles that General Motors is bringing into Canada are not affected by tariffs. That can change rapidly and frequently, but our local politicians and the executives at General Motors have been doing a great job at negotiating through some carryover from the CUSMA agreement. We're always watching to see what happens with our friends down south and what implications they will have there. But generally, all the tariff talk is actually vehicles from Canada and Mexico going into the States. The stuff that's coming to Canada has been tariff-free so far, and we're really happy that it hasn't affected our prices.
And finally, what is a fun fact about Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership here in Guelph?
Oh, you put me on the spot with that one. I think the fun fact that comes to my mind when you ask the question is the teamwork and the culture of teamwork that we have at our dealership. We're really proud to carry Barry's name on our signs, and for those that don't know, Barry was an avid hockey player, professional hockey player in the late 50s. He played for the Maple Leafs and the Red Wings, and through that experience, he really focused on building high-performing teams, and we worked really hard to carry that forward today. So the people that you would interact with here have that mentality of working really closely together through all the different departments to serving our customers.
What are your thoughts in the future of all electric vehicles? And is there any plans with GM to have hybrid vehicles in the future as well?
So I unfortunately can't comment too much about future plans. They've made some hints at things that might come, but they haven't made anything official to the network yet for us to know. So right now, General Motors is offering solutions for everyone. We have all EV options as well as our traditional ICE or diesel and gas-powered vehicles. The portfolio is continuing to expand, and we're starting to see a lot more of the EV options coming into the market. One day we would hopefully see a hybrid of some sort, but we don't have anything official to talk about just yet.
And finally, where can my audience follow Barry Cullen on social media and your website again?
So thank you for bringing that up, Chris. Our website is www.barrycullen.com or barrycullencadillac.com for our Cadillac shoppers. We're also on Instagram as Barry Cullen Chev, and on Facebook as Barry Cullen Chev. And we're really excited to talk to you online, through social media, but also in the showroom.
And I want to say it's coming on 3 years since you guys became an official sponsor of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. And I want to say thank you so much, Paul, for doing this. And I've been a customer of Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph for 25 years and hopefully another 25 years.
Thank you so much for your support, Chris. We're happy to repay that contribution, and we look forward and very excited to see your growth and talking with the people that you're reaching as well. So it's a great partnership that we're proud to be part of.
And again, the one-day event goes to 6 o'clock tonight here.
That's right.
Located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com. Thank you so much, Paul. Paul Cullen, the GM of Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph. Have a great day. That clip was courtesy of my YouTube channel, and that was Paul Cullen, the general manager of Barry Cullen Chevrolet, which is the official sponsor of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. I forgot to ask my guest, Nicole Newman. She has a podcast called Testimonial Fridays with Nicole, and right now they're doing the Spin Awards. And it's for virtual talk shows. And right now, you can check out the website if you'd like to vote for Nicole Newman for her show Testimony Friday with Nicole. You can go to the website www.thespinawards.com/vote. That's www.thespinawards.com/vote. You can do it up until August 15th. So please support my friend and my guest, Nicole Newman, if you can vote for her on the Spin Awards. Thespinawards.com/vote. You got until August 15 as well. We're going to wrap up this show, guys, as it's been a long show, but it's been a great show as well. And I'm looking forward to my next show. And the next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, sponsored by barrycullen.com, is going to be tomorrow, Tuesday, August 5th. That's tomorrow, Tuesday, August 5th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern with my special guest, Donna Lee Lamendola. She is a stand-up comedian, so I hope you guys can check that out. And I have another 3 shows this week as well. So Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show has 4 more shows, 4 more guests this week. Please check out my social media pages for my upcoming shows and upcoming guests. But again, tomorrow, Tuesday, August 5th, 4:30 with my special guest, Donna Lee Lamendola, a stand-up comedian out of Texas. My promo said Thursday, but I meant Tuesday, so even the best of us make mistakes as well. And I want to say thank you to my guest, Nicole Newman, for coming on here. Please check out her company, Nicole Company, and I have her she is on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok as well. And I will post them on my graphic as we wrap up this show. I want to say thank you to Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership for sponsoring this show. And thank you to everyone watching this live streamed and also on audio platforms. And Major League Baseball tonight, Twins and Tigers, 6:40. Last count, Tigers were up 6-3. And then the other game I'm interested in is the Blue Jays and Rockies at 8:40 p.m. as well. And please check out my social media pages again for my interview with Paul Cullen today, the GM of Barry Cullen Chevrolet. And I also did an interview for the Kitchener Panthers of the Intercounty Baseball League yesterday. I interviewed infield shortstop number 7, Charlie towers as well. I hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 4:30 for another edition of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph, with special guest Donna Lee Mandola, a comedian out of Texas. Good night, everybody, and thanks for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show.